Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo and you're watching another live edition of the LockerGnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short, your daily dose of geek news, product views, and answers that you can use, like an answer to the question, have you been busy, Chris? And the answer is yes, I have. I don't know if you caught the vlog, but I was just in California. Came back. I don't think anybody really knew I was there until I was back. One of the reasons why we kind of delay the publishing of the vlogs, if only because we want it to be a surprise for everybody. So I was gone for a certain reason and had a chance to visit Apple's campus. Don't know if you guys caught that, and gals, guys and gals, caught that on Instagram. I posted a picture of me standing at one infinite loop. It's kind of neat. One of the highlights from tomorrow's vlog, you'll see it. Diana couldn't figure out where it was. She said, "Oh, that's kind of neat. Where is it?" And she said, "Oh, haha," after she looked up what it was. So I was busy. I was traveling, but still thinking, processing. And I wanted to let you know before I begin to do a couple of things that I wanted to do today. One, the podcast has been rebooted. You can now get the Chris Pirillo Show podcast in iTunes, your favorite podcasting client, whatever it happens to be. It will be compatible. If you have SoundCloud, you can subscribe to it there. You can get the link for it there. I'll put a link for you in the video's description. But the cool thing about putting the podcast on SoundCloud is that if you're listening to the podcast, you can comment. As you're logged in, you can comment at a certain point during the podcast. So you can talk specifically to a certain part of it. A really fascinating way of rebooting the podcast. However, not to disappoint, it is not called the Chris Pirillo Show. No, not anymore. That was the old name. The new name, Chris Pirillo's Universe, or CPU for short. So the CPU podcast, anything goes. It's largely based on the AMA. The questions I cannot answer on a TLDR episode we do on Fridays, I want to be able to do as a podcast. So that's about an hour long, audio only, available right now. You can get it. I recorded one last week. That's the one that's out today. And I recorded next week's podcast yesterday. The reason why I'm staying ahead of time is because patrons, my supernomies, well, 920 supernomies, have the option. At a certain pledge level and higher, you'll get the podcast a week ahead of time. Of course, if you want to wait, you can. And I'm even thinking, I know this is a little nutty, but I'm thinking about making the Pirillo vlog available a day ahead of time if you become one of the active supernomies. Everybody else will get it. It's just that because I'm like 4 days behind in my schedule of publishing the vlogs for a lot of different reasons. But I'm thinking, well, maybe you can get it 24 hours ahead of time before everybody else does. Just another bonus for any one of the people who are willing to say, Chris, you're worth more than an app. You're worth more than a movie rental. You're worth more than a burger. You're worth more than a cup of my favorite beverage. Whatever it happens to be. So tons of new bonuses. And I'm not done. I know some of you love live shows, you love edited shows, and you also love when I talk about certain companies or products, specifically Apple. So there is a distinct possibility that I'm going to start putting together or figuring out how to do a weekly Apple show, just focusing it only on Apple stuff. And I know what you're thinking, maybe. If I don't, maybe I'm wrong about you. Well, what about Google? Well, the next step would be to do a Google show, if, people seem to like the idea that we want to do with the Apple show. So we're constantly trying new things and trying to deliver as much value as we possibly can to people. And before I forget too, supernomies, you can become one. It's really easy. Come on. I'm trying to do more in this channel and the other one. I'll get to more of that in a second. But first, what I wanted to do, something that I wanted to do last week, I held this box up telling you can get 20% off your very first purchase of Little Bits. This is the deluxe kit. It's got all these components. It's a way to learn about electronics, how all these components work together. Great for kids and adults, and you can use the coupon code LockerGnome to save 20%. This is not available at deals.lockergnome.com though. That's completely separate. So if you're looking for other deals, you got to go there. This is completely separate. It comes with all these components. What I wanted to do last week, and I totally spaced on this. Okay, so I got the power component. What I wanted to do is kind of like a blind grab to see what happened. Okay, so I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to put this here. See, I'm just grabbing these various components to see if I can actually create something that does something that I wasn't expecting it to do, but it'll be kind of fun. All right, so let's use this component because I like glowing things. I'm gonna put this on my arm. hand. I don't know if I can get it completely on my arm. And drop the rest of them. Hang on. Okay, magnets, easy. Let's go ahead and snap this in. Does it go that way? No, let's go this way. Okay, let's get that in there. And drop that again. There we go. This is not exactly how they suggest using it, but you know me. All right, so now I've just randomly picked these components out. Looks like I've got an i3 button and the power and a timeout and a pulse. Let's see if I can do anything with this. Now, granted, this is not following a recipe. I may be kind of making up my own recipe here. Let's turn it on. Flick that switch if I can. Okay, it's on. I've got power. Okay, will this do anything? No, because it's got a timeout. So what I can do is try to... Okay, so I'm not doing anything. I tried! Because part of this is just discovery of learning how to do something. I was seeing if I could do something crazy with these components. Maybe you can figure out a way if you get the little bits. I wanted to do that last week. I apologize. I'm talking about it again this week, but I'm sorry. I kind of like gadgets like this that allow me to explore and have fun with things that are geeky. Like you. You're I'm assuming, part of that. We're doing a live hangout tomorrow. It's going to be another family vlogger hangout. A Q&A, if you have questions for me in relation to being a father. Other daddy vloggers, potentially mommy vloggers coming. That'll be happening in the other YouTube channel. Then, ThinkGeek has a 20% off sale. It was going on this weekend. Should still be going on. go.tagjag.com/ThinkGeek. Save some money on ThinkGeek products. I haven't gotten anything on ThinkGeek in a while. Usually I wait for like big discounts to come in, because they do. And then I'll get, random stuff that I always wanted that only ThinkGeek seems to sell. On StarWars.com, and also on their YouTube channel, they've come out with Empire Uncut. So this was something that was done with A New Hope, Star Wars A New Hope, where fans submitted scenes from the movie. And the same thing has now happened with The Empire Strikes Back. So that has now been compiled. If you want to see The Empire Strikes Back as seen through the fans' eyes, you can. And what's amazing to me is that the fans love Star Wars, and it seems that, well, maybe not Star Wars as a brand, but Disney now, who owns Star Wars, loves the fans back. And this is just spectacular to see. Even if you've seen The Empire Strikes Back, even if you've already seen A New Hope, this just puts a completely different spin on it. You're not going to see cinematic masterpieces in each of these fan-compiled scenes, but it's just interesting to see Star Wars as played out by people who've loved Star Wars for all these years. And if you haven't loved Star Wars yet, you're probably not living. Oh, or maybe you just don't like it. I have received, by way of someone, and I cannot remember who sent this. I think they emailed me or mentioned it in a comment, but it didn't come included in the package. It's a Darth Vader knife, or it's got Darth Vader on it. And I've got to be very careful with this, but he says, you've got to unbox your stuff in style. So he sent a blade, a very sharp blade. I gotta be very careful with. Knives kind of scare me. With Darth Vader on it. So no more scissors, possibly. I may be opening future packages with this Darth Vader, what would you call it? I almost said embroidered. This is not embroidery. It's not a sticker. It's actually like etched into the metal of the knife itself. Not a knife reviewer. I can tell you this is sharp, and it's got Darth Vader on it, so that makes me happy when I'm going to need to use it. Stickers! I love stickers. Now, if you know me, you already know what my favorite sticker is. Or kind of sticker. I'll give you time to answer or think about it. Garbage Pail Kids. Favorite stickers. In fact, series, I guess the 2014 Series 2, what they're going to be calling it, I guess they're releasing 2 new series this year. One has already been released. Second one coming up soon. I collect Garbage Pail Kids. Always have, probably always will. I'm a huge fan of them. Stickers that aren't Garbage Pail Kids are now available on Facebook. Comments. I noticed this morning, I'm scrolling on my page, and it says, hey, you can use a sticker. I'm like, really? So I used a sticker. So now all the Facebook comments are overflowing with stickers. So if you hate stickers, you're probably going to hate Facebook. But if you hate Facebook, you probably hate stickers. Not that they're one and the same or anything. Sure, yeah, I'm sure people are going to abuse it, but I'm actually a fan of images and comments. So long as it's relevant to the topic at hand. It's when it kind of gets off topic that I get really frustrated with it. So I'm sure people will abuse stickers, but color me one of those people who is a fan of the stickers. If you did not realize, your Google Chromecast, 30 bucks, I don't know if you've already purchased one, can now turn your TV screen into a beautiful backdrop filled with your photos, satellite imagery, art, and more. So think of it like a screensaver for your TV. And I know you may have like a built-in screensaver with your TV, but it probably sucks. Or maybe it doesn't suck. But maybe you want to put different types of photos on your TV. 29 bucks or so will get you a Chromecast. You use the software, and you can put images on your TV. Why buy a digital photo frame? Are those still for sale? That used to be a thing, these digital photo frames. Not so much anymore. You can turn your TV into a photo frame with Chromecast with this feature called Backdrop, now available. Check it out. Also now available, an updated version of Skype, Skype 7.0 on the desktop. I think it's fugly. Color me someone who's never been a huge fan of Skype. It used to be a big deal. Now, not so much anymore. There are a lot of options out there, but I'm just not a fan of Skype. It's never really fit anywhere for me. I don't need it for anything that I can't get somewhere else. So Skype continues to advance now under the control of Microsoft, but Skype 7.0, as far as I'm concerned, is fuglier than the 6.0, and I wasn't happy with 6. It's just every version that they've released has seemingly gotten fuglier and fuglier. So if you want more fugly on your desktop, go ahead and download Skype 7.0. You'll be happy. WeatherSignal is a barometer available for iOS and Android that will allow you to send in information or data from where you are right now. And by doing this, the hope of this app, WeatherSignal, is that weather forecasts will be crowdsourced. So you can effectively become a weather station, or the data that you provide can provide more accurate forecasts for everybody. So that's fantastic. That's phenomenal. Reminds me a lot of what, well, WeatherBug, or now Earth Networks, has been doing for quite some time. And as a disclaimer, they are one of our supernomies, so I want to throw that out there. It's a big deal. You've got the phone on you, Android, iOS. You might as well be using it for something. Making the weather reports better for you. It's still a killer app. It always cracks me up. I tune into news every so often, or Diana might be watching it, and will we see rain tonight? Stay tuned after this commercial break. And so I pick up my phone and go, no, we will not see rain tonight. I didn't need the weather report to tell me that. So get a granular view of the weather and help crowdsource forecasts by using this app. It is free, to my knowledge, WeatherSignal. Google Plus, just when you thought it was dead. Maybe you still think it's dead. I really don't know. I don't think it's dead. I'm not quite dead. I use it, ish. I don't know. I feel that Google Plus had a chance, and it still kind of has a chance, but it doesn't really have a chance. It's just made things more frustrating for me. I think it's got certain features that I appreciate. Photos backup, Hangouts. But now, this is kind of neat. They've got, and this is like, to me, 10 years too late, Google Plus polls. So you can now publish polls like you could once do in Facebook. They took it away. You can do that on Google Plus. So if you want polls in social, you can use Google Plus. I kind of wish Twitter would do that. That'd be neat. I would probably use Twitter polls more than I would Google Plus polls. That's just me. But I will tell you this. Remember, I've been busy. We're going to be retooling the LockerGnome app for iOS and Android. It's going to be available on iOS first. And in there, we're going to be driving polls where you're going to be able to tell me, give me an answer to a question that I need an answer to. For example, and you can feel free to comment if you want. I don't know if I can tally the responses quickly enough or accurately enough. I have here at Exchange, and by the way, I did not pay for these. I got them legitimately. I mean, I used some kind of currency. I earned Amazon gift cards by way of go.tagjag.com/free points and go.tagjag.com/free apps. Sorry, Pixie. And with that, ended up buying the full set of Lego minifigures, 12th series. Had to make sure I got that right. They've already done at least 12. So I love minifigures, and I have all of them. And my question to you is, do you want me to do a video? I'll put them in the daily vlog, yeah, because they're just, they're personal. But do you want me to do my review or highlight or showcase or whatever video I'm going to do on these minifigures in this channel for Geek Lifestyles, or would you rather have me do a separate video in the other YouTube channel? So that's a kind of a poll question that I would ask. Look at that. We got a pizza box Lego brick now with this pizza delivery guy. Kind of fun. Oh, this is something that I think many of you would like. a video game player. Not a gamer. A video game. I don't want to upset anybody. I'm not here to get involved with that kerfuffle. Look, he's got a video game controller and Player One on his shirt. So, this may go into the Geek Lifestyles, this YouTube channel, not the blog channel, although I plan on featuring those, all those minifigures in a Pirillo vlog that's possibly going to be recorded today, although at 3 in the afternoon, I've yet to pick up the camera. That's how busy I have been. And I'm not just busy talking about being busy. I've been planning. So, other things that I've been planning, as I roll through, and I can do this thanks in large part to the Super Nomies. The vlog channel. You may want to pay attention to this announcement. And I know you're probably not paying attention. That's okay. Well, if you're listening to me, you're paying attention. But most people who would want to listen to this are not paying attention, which is sad. Isn't that the case? Things that are so important for people to hear, they never hear. It's like people don't understand why I get frustrated answering the same questions over and over again. Why don't you make a FAQ? It's a great suggestion. The problem is that nobody reads facts. And I don't mean facts like, that's facts, F-A-X. I'm talking about FAQs. Frequently asked questions, so there's no point in doing a FAQ. Here's what I'm thinking about for the classic vlog channel. Not putting tech stuff back there, not putting geek stuff back there, but you may like this, you may not. And by the way, Super Nomies will get access to the videos that are produced before other people do. Just another reason to become a supporter that way. New shows in the vlog channel, the Chris Pirillo channel, the classic LockerGnome channel. One of the new shows I want to do, we're going to try. I don't know how many we're going to do before you either continue with it or give up. Advice. Nice advice. Once a week, a video where Diana and I, or maybe just me, or both of us, well, together, both of us together, both of us apart, give advice. We have people asking for advice all the time, like things to keep in mind when you buy a house. Someone asked that, and they got 7 likes on Facebook, which is a big deal. And someone else asked, well, relationship advice or entrepreneurial advice, but I'll get to that part in just a second, or a minute, or, well, after I'm done talking about this. So every week, we're going to give you some nice advice based on the questions you ask. You want our advice? You trust us? We'll give you advice. That'll be in the blog channel. So if you don't like the blogs, still, you'd have a reason to subscribe to that channel because you get more than just the vlogs. Then, I also want to do life tips. I'm going to try that. It's not exactly like advice, but my suggestions, because the advice stuff is based on the questions you're asking. Life tips. How to be happy on Monday. You know, people want to figure that, you know, how do I be happy on Monday? Pro tips for dealing with YouTube stuff, which is not really exactly personal. But, you know, things that don't really fit in geek lifestyles, but still I'm interested in sharing my thoughts on. Life tips. Which those two things could eventually kind of fall together. I don't know. It depends on what people think about those two types of shows, and if one needs to accelerate and the other one kind of needs to go away, or they need to merge together. The idea is just to continue to give tips and advice in that channel. Then, believe you me, I'm trying to pace myself. I don't want to outdo myself. Remember, I'm talking about trying to do new things, seeing what sticks. I'm going to be doing the weekly family vlogger hangouts. Those are live. Those are easy enough to do. I want to do something on a weekly basis with Diana, specifically, like we do the snack times. I want to put that, you know, put that ball in motion because I like doing the live shows, but we'll see about those. Those kind of happen as we get time. Then, entrepreneur tips. So I have a list of 100 tips that I've compiled over the years, and I've never really put them in video, and it could grow to 200. I don't know. I'm planning on doing an entrepreneurial tips series in the Chris Pirillo channel and doing one of them a week. So you can just get insight as to be my version of being an entrepreneur. It'll take 100 weeks for you to get all my tips, but I think you'll be around for the long haul. So I'll be putting that series in the other YouTube channel because it's not geeky. It's me. It's Chris Pirillo. I mean, my whole life is an entrepreneur. Certain type of entrepreneur, a lifestyle entrepreneur. So those are the things that I'm working on for that particular channel at a high level. And I just want to let you know. I mean, I'm busy. I'm doing things. So I'm just sitting here twiddling my thumbs. I'm doing everything I possibly can to help and to, you know, continue to be connected with you. You know, someone just before going live, he tweeted out something that was very, very positive. He or she, I don't know. I gave them the avatar of the day because they had a baby Ewok avatar. And I'm like, you avatar of the day. But he said something, this person said something really, really nice, saying, you know, that we kind of inspire him, you know, to be positive or something along those lines. I don't have the tweet in front of me. I apologize. But I screenshotted it and shared it. I'm like, it's positivity. I like that. Oh, another thing I want to try in the vlog channel, and this may be the stupidest idea I've ever come up with, but you know what? I like stupid ideas, and you may hate it. You also may hate looking at that. Your name could be there. You don't probably hate that. You don't hate your name, I hope. Dan McLaughlin, I'm working on getting your postcard. I got your email, printed it out. We'll be sending it soon. See, I get to know people's names. I get to know who you are, generally speaking, as long as you let me know who you are. Because I'm not crazy, like, you know, stalking people. I'm going to do something. Sounds stupid. Daddy sings. So I've got Jedi, and sometimes I'm just kind of singing to her. I put it in the vlogs. But what I'm thinking about doing is just, you know, like a minute long, 2 minute long, whatever. You know, I'm singing a song to her, and I may have to look at, like, a screen to, like, look at the lyrics. But, like, you know, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. That's a sample. I'm not a singer. I'm singing, but I'm not a singer. The value is that I'm the daddy time. I'm such a simple, crazy, daddy sings, row, row, row your boat. So I'm going to do that. Because it'll be simple. It'll be easy. It'll be fun. Something to put in the vlog channel that's personal. I don't know. Something that's crazy. Maybe other kids will like it. Maybe other kids will want to hear me sing, even though I can't sing very well at all. And then eventually I can work my way up into memorizing lyrics, which I don't do very well. So I can sing like, you know, I'm yours, you know, to a baby who does not understand things. That would be another thing I would want to do on a weekly basis. Then in this channel, as I said, an Apple broadcast, I also am planning on organizing other geeky YouTubers and doing weekly hangouts. Like I've got the family vloggers in the vlog channel. I want to do the geeky, nerdy YouTubers in this channel. Weekly hangouts. Kind of like I do the Geek Out with Jerry every so often. We don't do it every week, but I thought what we could do is, I mean, I've contacted a handful of some of the people that you would likely know in the YouTube universe of geekery. Just bring them together and just geek out about answering questions about what everybody's asking us during the live broadcast, doing it once a week. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be interesting, and I'd be happy to kind of facilitate that. If only because I do also want to work on doing some kind of vlogger fair specifically for nerds and geeks. Got to figure out how to make that happen. Boulder Dash, one of my favorite video games on the Commodore 64, is now available at, or on iOS at least, a 30th anniversary app. I got a redeem code to play it. It had elements of the classic game, but I wish they just would have released the classic game. That's what I would have wanted. I like new graphics and everything, but there's something about the classics. I just want to play the classics. That's where my mind's at. That's all I want. Am I the only one who just wants to play classic video games? Maybe I am. But Boulder Dash is available for iOS. If not today, then it will be very soon. Amazon is opening its first brick-and-mortar store in Manhattan in time for the holidays. It'll handle pickups and returns. I think this is very wise for Amazon to do, if only to provide a further touch point for consumers. I love Amazon. As far as I could love a company, it has helped so much, saved so much time, frustration. Then again, I grew up in a day, an age, or era when you had to drive somewhere to get something. So to have it delivered with ease and with affordability is a dramatic departure from the way things used to be. So it's interesting that Amazon would be creating its own store. I don't imagine they're going to do this in other cities. They might. If only because I'm sure they would get the people coming in with customer service issues beyond the pickups and returns. That would, though, give me more confidence in, even more confidence in buying things from Amazon. And I have a fair amount of confidence. Because sometimes just figuring out how to return, it's a pain in the neck. How am I going to do it? Why do I have something in my eye? I don't know. So I think I think it's pretty wise for Amazon to do. And I would hope that they would have it in more cities, in more locations. Possibly even, like, there's like the UPS store, or FedEx has got Kinko's FedEx. I think it'd be interesting for Amazon to do something like that. And have that kind of storefront where you could send packages, or pick up packages, or return packages. and be a full-on service that way. I mean, you want to talk about strengthening the Amazon brand and having boots on the ground, so to speak. Apple product sales were higher than ever last quarter, ranking the company as one of the top 5 PC vendors for the first time, according to IDC. Now, you got to be careful when you read these reports. I take them with a grain of salt. Still, for the first time, Apple's cracked into the top 5. Why is that? Well, Apple's got stores. They've got a good customer experience. And they have a lot of, and this may not exactly be the right word to use, phrase, term, gateway drugs. The iPad. Can I speak, Pixie? They've got gateway drugs, like the iPad, the iPhone, at one point the iPod, kind of an Apple TV. Things that bring people into Apple's universe. Well, you know what? One of the first experiences that I think my family had with Apple was either the iPad, the iPod, or the iPhone, or a combination of all three. So even if OS X, the desktop operating system, or OS that's really geared towards traditional user experience models, keyboard, touchpad or trackpad, non-touch screens, OS X may not work exactly like iOS. And at some point they may merge the two. I don't know how they would make that happen without really muddying usability. There, I just made up a new term. Usability. But it's possible. So someone comes in because they like this product. Well, they're more likely to get a second product, and then a third product, and then a fourth product. This is one of the things that keeps Apple set apart from so many other vendors. That's its value add. Now, some people would see that and see that it was horrible. Oh, vendor lock-in. Well, every vendor wants that. Whether they claim it or not, every vendor wants you to buy more of their products. Apple just does a pretty good job at making that experience comprehensive. I would hope that more companies would operate more like Apple because consumers would win. Competition. It's not a bad thing, even if you don't like Apple, even if you don't like Apple products. You may not view a Mac as a PC. It is. You can run Windows on it easily. And it works. I'm not saying everything about OS X or a Mac works. Or it just works. There's some snags. It's a computer. No computer's perfect. Nothing's perfect. That's what keeps us upgrading to the next whatever. But to know that Apple's driving ahead, they have a segment of the market that is a very valuable segment. So the premium PC market, who wouldn't want that? Who wouldn't? Well, the issue is that everybody else is using Windows or possibly Android or another OS like Chrome OS or maybe Linux, and they're fighting in a completely different realm. And they may be fighting on price. But how low could you go before you lose all your profits and you go out of business? Apple's not doing that. I'm not going to fault Apple for that. I don't think anybody would fault Apple for that. If you had a favorite company that made your favorite thing and they went out of business, would that make you happy? No. So, it's interesting to see Max cracking that nut, and I'm trying to explain to you why that is. Doesn't mean that they're going to become number one. Number one is an elusive number in a race that never ends. But there is an extreme value in looking at these singular products as devices that work within a range of products. And that's the story that Apple has, and it's also the story that other vendors are approaching, whether they be Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and maybe at some point even others in terms of leading brands that we know who are really controlling the consumer electronics marketplace. I'm happy about that. I really am. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing, even if you hate Macs. Good for you. Please let me know you hate something, because my life would have been incomplete if I did not know that you hated something. That was a rolling of the eyes, by the way. Oh, Man, I got a lot of things I wanted to cover today I didn't even get to. Damn, some of this stuff's going to have to get pushed off till tomorrow, I think. Will.i.am, I'll end it with this. Will.i.am is unveiling his own smartwatch this week. Okay. He had an iPhone case last year, I think, and it basically made the camera on the iPhone even better. So that's cool. I believe it's going to be running Android. I don't know who the target market is necessarily. But then again, I'm really not a target market for a smartwatch at this point. That may change at some point in the future. I don't know yet. Will.i.am, smartwatch. I'm not going to say that wearables kind of jumped the shark, but Will.i.am, I would say he's got that entrepreneurial spirit, and I would never take that away from him. I haven't used it. I have no plans on using it. It's just interesting that he would be making that play. And I would just question, well, what's the value? What does this do that no other product does? Got to answer that question. If you can't answer that question, it can easily be replaced by something else. What does this product do so well that no other product does? Or what makes this thing so incredibly unique that it simply cannot be replicated? It's not just the feature, it's the implementation. So I'd have to see the implementation. I'd have to experience the implementation before I'd pass judgment. I just thought it was fascinating. Will.i.am is unveiling his own smartwatch this week. Well, maybe I should start working on a smartwatch then. Not to say I'm anywhere near as talented as Will.i.am. Not trying to take away from him at all. It's just, it's interesting news to me. That's, it's okay. Just checking the live comments here for the video. Oh, this is the Caesar Orozco. It's his first time on TLDR. Welcome. I also wanted to say, and I think this is correct, Liz, if I'm wrong, let me know. Happy Thanksgiving Day to all Canadians. And, you know, I love your country as far as I could love another country. You got really nice people and candy. I don't know. Happy Thanksgiving Day. Now, you may be thinking, if you're in the USA, Chris, why aren't you celebrating Columbus Day? I am, by trying to not be the man Christopher Columbus apparently was. He did some really janky things. Like, really janky and well-documented janky things. I do not know why we're celebrating him, honestly. I love this country. I love the fact that I live in the USA. As far as I'm concerned, it's the only country I would ever want to be in. I appreciate my freedoms and those who have defended those freedoms with their own lives over the years. No country's perfect. But I do question why we're celebrating this person on this day or any day, given what we now know this person has done in many cases. And there's no perfect human being, right? But he's done some pretty reprehensible things. And you don't have to look very far to do your research on it. It's well documented. Oh. Saw an article this morning talking about how he got food by pretending to talk to the gods and to make this lunar eclipse go away. And he timed it so that the lunar eclipse went away, and so the people who he was interacting with at the time, the natives of this land, thought that something was wrong, and then Christopher Columbus fixed it. Why are we celebrating that? That to me is like that's not the kind of guy I like. That's not the kind of guy I want to be. That's not the kind of guy I'm going to celebrate. So pardon if I'm more excited for Canadian Thanksgiving Day. I'm just saying, if you learned a little bit more about Christopher Columbus, you'd kind of wonder, like, why was Christopher Columbus? We even share a name! And I've lost a lot of respect for the guy. I appreciate that he did what he did in certain respects. No perfect human being, but I question whether or not he should have a federal holiday. So, now that I've upset everybody, and if I didn't, give me another day and I'll do it. Let me just go ahead and say that as far as you're concerned, I love you, I appreciate you, and I believe in you. I'm going to do the Q&A with you and me. I do 5 of these every week. One of them is made public. The other 4 are exclusive to the Supernomies, or the patrons. Oh boy. I'm saying oh boy because I'm looking at the question that I got to answer in a separate video. How can we help victims of bullying to heal? I'm going to give my perspective. See, now this would be a great example of a life tip that I could easily carve out and put in the other channel. In fact, it may get, inspire a separate video. Because I wouldn't necessarily say that that would be a question that I would answer in a Q&A in a geek lifestyles channel, because I wouldn't say it's geeky. It's something that applies to a greater audience. But it is a question that you asked of me, and I think it's a fair question, especially in relation to cyberbullying. I'll keep it in that realm. I'll answer that question in a separate video here today. So at this juncture, I almost said this point. I threw you off. You thought I was going to say point. I want to say thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, being yourself. And I hope you're happy. And if not, I hope you're on the path to happiness, as long as it doesn't come at the cost of somebody else's happiness. Now, I'm going to leave you to your own devices.